Chief, I think it was good presentations, and but एक चीज just on a personal side I just wanted to ask is like I think there's a lot of मतलब transition अगर हम 20 साल में देखते हैं तो I think from Tata to DSP to now Kotak. So is there any key differences you find in the organization culture जो शायद में भी इफेक्टिव फंड मैनेजमेंट में लाइक आपकी कुछ लर्निंग रही है उसमें?
वैसे मुझे बहुत कुछ ज़्यादा डिफरेंस तो नहीं लग रहा है बिकॉज माय प्रीवियस 2 ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में भी टीम और कल्चर काफ़ी अच्छा था, बहुत अच्छा था. एंड कोटक इज़ इवन बेटर आई वुड से. मैं मतलब इनफैक्ट हमारी इंडस्ट्री काफ़ी छोटी है, फंड मैनेजमेंट एनालिस्ट, और हम एक दूसरे को जानते ही है पहले से ही. तो सेटल होने में कुछ प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं था, तुरंत सेटल हुआ. द प्लस पॉइंट ऑफ कोटक इज़ द width and depth of the analyst team, which is like we are like 20 or 22 investment professionals including fund managers and analysts. और एवरेज एक्सपीरियंस सबका 15 से 20 साल का है, 15 साल का है. और नंबर इटसेल्फ इज ह्यूज, 22 पीपल ट्रैकिंग 500 कंपनीज. तो सपोर्ट सिस्टम काफ़ी अच्छी है यहाँ पे इन टर्म्स ऑफ गेटिंग आइडियाज एंड डिबेट्स एंड डिस्कशंस एक्सेट्रा. सो आई थिंक कल्चर एंड वो तो सब अच्छा ही था सब जगह, बट यहाँ पे सपोर्ट जो मिल रहा है वो काफ़ी अच्छा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ ब्रेथ ऑफ कवरेज एंड डेप्थ ऑफ कवरेज.
आपने अपना जो करियर है वो भी एज अ रिसर्च एनालिस्ट चालू किया था.
बराबर.
तो जब आप इनिशियली आपने ज्वाइन किया था तो विच सेक्टर यूज टू ट्रैक?
अच्छा, आई स्टार्टेड विद ट्रैकिंग TMT सेक्टर, टेलीकॉम टेक्नोलॉजी एंड मीडिया. उस टाइम पे तो 3-4 साल मैंने वो किया. फिर उस टाइम पे उस कंपनी में BFSI एनालिस्ट हैज़ लेफ्ट, तो मैंने वो सेक्टर भी पिकअप कर लिया. तो ऑलमोस्ट 5-6 ईयर्स आई ट्रैक दिस टेक्नोलॉजी, टेलीकॉम एंड बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस. तो 6 years I track these 2 big sectors.
तो अभी मान के चलो एटलीस्ट यू हैव 20 years of experience. तो अभी भी डू यू ट्रैक सम सेक्टर्स, और अभी उतना हैंड्स ऑन नहीं है बट यू कीप जगलिंग बिटवीन एनी सेक्टर्स और समथिंग लाइक दैट?
I truly believe that as a fund manager also my 80-90% job is a job of an analyst.
Okay.
So I still keep meeting companies, tracking quarterly results, hearing their quarterly con calls and all. जितना हो सके उतना करता हूँ. But I think, and I keep reading a lot in terms of research, etc. So I think at a core of my heart, I am still an analyst, and fund management is an additional responsibility. So I think, and I think that is a universal truth. सबको research analyst ही रहना पड़ता है लास्ट तक. Fund management is just, I think, an additional thing.
Can you spend some time the fund you manage? You manage one of the largest mid-cap fund in the industry. Can you spend some time on that fund?
So I think obviously it is a challenging job in terms of investing 60,000 crore of rupees in the mid-cap space. But I think it is very, very exciting, and I'm enjoying actually this job. It's I don't feel any kind of stress at all. जो लोग मुझे पूछते रहते हैं कि कैसे करते हो, stress आता है, but actually I'm enjoying this job, and it is because of, I think, the opportunities Indian economy offers, and particularly in last 5-10 years जो चीज़ें हो रही है in terms of reforms and all, हम देख रहे हैं कि एवरी सेकंड ईयर नया नया सेक्टर आते जा रहा है. पहले इंश्योरेंस लिस्ट हुआ, फिर कैपिटल मार्केट के कंपनीज लिस्ट हुए, फिर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करके एक सेक्टर आया, फिर लास्ट 5 साल में हॉस्पिटल एक नया सेक्टर उभर के आया. तो नए नए सेक्टर आ रहे हैं, नया नया सीखने को मिल रहा है. एंड ये जो नए सेक्टर्स आते हैं जहाँ पे वेल्थ क्रिएट होती है वो पहले स्मॉल और मिड कैप स्पेस में होते हैं. ऐसे जनरली नहीं होता है कि कोई डायरेक्ट लार्ज कैप में आके फिर लिस्ट. तो आई थिंक काफ़ी चीज़ें हो रही है इकोनॉमी में, काफ़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, बहुत लोगों से मिलने को मिलता है, उसमें सीखने को मिलता है. तो आई थिंक इट्स वेरी एक्साइटिंग और एन्जॉइंग काइंड ऑफ जॉब विच आई एम हैविंग. एंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिप्लॉइंग दिस कैपिटल, तो आई थिंक ऐसा नहीं है कि फंड ही बड़े हुए हैं, सब कुछ ही बड़ा हो रहा है. इकोनॉमी अभी 10 साल पहले अपनी इकोनॉमी $1.5 ट्रिलियन की, अभी $4 ट्रिलियन क्रॉस होगी. मार्केट कैप $1 ट्रिलियन था, अभी $5 ट्रिलियन हो गया. जब मैंने मार्केट ज्वाइन किया था 2005 में, तो फंड साइजेस 800,000 करोड़ मतलब बहुत बड़ा माना जाता था, और कंपनी मिड कैप कंपनी 2000-3000 करोड़ मार्केट कैप की कंपनी मिड कैप होती थी। आज अगर हम 150 कंपनी जो क्लासीफाई होती है मिड कैप, उनका एवरेज मार्केट कैप 60,000 करोड़ है और टोटल 150 मिड कैप कंपनीज का टोटल मार्केट कैप 9 लाख करोड़ का है। तो ये मेरा प्लेग्राउंड है, उसमें से मुझे एट अ टाइम में भी 40-50 कंपनी चुननी है जो बिकॉज ऑफ द इकोनॉमी, डिवर्सनेस ऑफ द इकोनॉमी, ऐसा नहीं कि अपनी इकोनॉमी सिर्फ कंजम्पशन में है या कैपेक्स में है या एक्सपोर्ट में है, अपने पास सब कुछ है। तो इसकी वजह से वी कैन कीप deploying money and keep rotating money also depending on valuations and market scenarios. So I think it's a challenge but I'm enjoying it.
तो फंड का कंस्ट्रक्ट कैसा है? मान के चलो कि 80% आपको मिड कैप में रखना है और बाकी यू हैव अ लीवे ऑफ 20%, यू कैन ऐड इधर लार्ज और स्मॉल.
So according to SEBI regulations, so minimum 65% has to be in mid cap stocks.
Okay.
But generally I keep more 5-6% more. तो जनरली मेरे फंड का 70% मिड कैप में होता है, अराउंड 14-15% हमेशा स्मॉल कैप में होता है. तो 85% जो जेन्युइन, जो आप ट्रू टू मैंडेट बोल सकते हैं, बिकॉज स्मॉल कैप बहुत छोटे भी नहीं होते हैं, वो बॉर्डर लाइन केसेस होती है. तो 85-86% मिड एंड स्मॉल कैप, 12-13% आई जनरली कीप लार्ज कैप, टेक्टिकल अपॉर्चुनिटीज़, वो लिक्विडिटी मैनेजमेंट या कैश मैनेजमेंट के लिए भी काम आती है, और 2-3% कैश रहती है. सो दिस इज द ब्रॉड कंस्ट्रक्ट ऑफ द फंड. हम लोग या पर्टिकुलरली मैं कभी कैश कॉल नहीं लेता कि 5% कैश या 10% कैश हुआ, ऐसा नहीं होता है. कीप इन्वेस्टिंग इन सेक्टर्स एंड स्टॉक डिपेंडिंग ऑन द वैल्यूएशंस एंड द अपॉर्चुनिटीज़.
तो जैसे अभी मान के चलो ये 65-80% जो हमने मिड कैप में रखा है, तो ये ब्रॉड है, काफ़ी मतलब 12-13 सेक्टर्स के अंदर डिवाइड हुआ है. तो उस तरीके का.
एंड जनरली मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में बहुत ज़्यादा कंसंट्रेशन या बहुत ज़्यादा लंबी टेल नहीं होती है. मैं माय स्वीट स्पॉट इज़ बिटवीन से 60-70 कंपनीज. ओके. मेरा पोर्टफोलियो कभी 20-25 कंपनीज का नहीं होगा, या कभी उसमें 80-100 स्टॉक या 100-100 स्टॉक नहीं रहेंगे. आई थिंक विद दिस 60-70 number I can keep tracking those companies in a optimal way, as well as I think invest करने में भी कुछ ज़्यादा दिक्कत नहीं होती है because of the liquidity and the market caps etc.
तो कुछ significant reason है आपका you remain in that 40-60 band, और it is much more मतलब extreme over allocations नहीं होता है particular sector या stock में, because of that आप
या मतलब बेसिकली इसमें कुछ ऐसा साइंस तो नहीं है, बट हिस्टोरिकली ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ लास्ट 12-15 years आई दिस हैज सॉर्ट ऑफ बिकम अ स्वीट स्पॉट फॉर मी. तो उसमें यू कैन गिव राइट एलोकेशन और पोजीशन साइजिंग टू इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक्स. जैसे जनरली मेरे इसमें 4% to 1% ऐसा रेंज रहता है इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक्स का. तो आई कैन एलोकेट राइट वेट, एट द सेम टाइम आई थिंक रिस्क अच्छे से मैनेज हो जाती है.
तो जो आपके टेलेंट जो स्टॉक्स है उधर वेट कितना होता है आपका?
टेलेंट में भी फिर एटलीस्ट आई वुड से 75-80 बिप्स तो रहना ही चाहिए. उससे नीचे जो होगा वो आइदर मैं पोजीशन बिल्ड कर रहा हूँ या एग्जिट कर रहा हूँ, उस टाइप के होते हैं. बट आई वुड ऑलवेज ट्राई टू, जब मैं कोई स्टॉक आइडेंटिफाई करता हूँ और लेने का सोचता हूँ, तो आई विल एटलीस्ट ट्राई टू असाइन इट 1-1.5% वेट, और मैक्सिमम मैं जनरली 4 पे कैप कर देता हूँ. बिकॉज वॉट एवर काइंड ऑफ कन्विक्शन और कॉन्फिडेंस यू बिल्ड ऑन एनी कंपनी, एनी मैनेजमेंट, रिस्क कहाँ से कैसे आ जाएगी वी कैन नेवर से अबाउट इट. सो बेटर, एंड वी हैव लॉट ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज, वी नीड नॉट टेक द रिस्क ऑफ ओवर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन. तो इसके लिए मैं जनरली कीप इट ब्रॉड बेस्ड.
और एक चीज़ मेरा ऑब्जर्वेशन है, मे बी यू कैन करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, कि अभी एटलीस्ट पोस्ट कोविड हम ये देख रहे हैं कि स्टॉक प्राइजेस मूव वेरी फास्ट. लाइक और एक चीज़ देखी जा रही है कि बिजनेस साइकिल्स काफ़ी शॉर्ट्स होते जा रहे हैं.
करेक्ट.
तो अगर हम ये 2 डेटा पॉइंट्स को पास में रखते हैं, तो इज इट जो हम पहले बोला जाता था जब मैंने अपना करियर चालू किया कि बाय राइट सिट टाइट, मतलब आप लीजिए और लॉन्ग टर्म आप सोते रहिए. आपको लगता है कि वो थिंकिंग को रीथिंक करने की जरूरत है?
यस, यू आर वेरी वेरी राइट. आई थिंक इफ यू लुक एट मेरे पोर्टफोलियो के चर्न रेशो ऑल्सो हिस्टोरिकली पहले मेरे 15 से 20% चर्न होता था, अभी इट हैज़ गॉन अप टू 40-45%. बिकॉज एज यू सेड कि एवरी 6-8 मंथ्स या 1 ईयर कोई 2-3 थीम आती है, बहुत चलती है, स्टॉक्स गेट स्ट्रेच टू एक्सट्रीम वैल्यूएशन, फिर इट the baton gets passed on to some other sector or stock, and that is because of so many things happening globally as well as in India in terms of geopolitics or reforms or policies or customer preferences, etc., which keeps changing nowadays. So when a particular stock gets stretched to a level beyond a comfort zone, even if you know कि आगे जाके भी वो ग्रोथ अच्छा करेगा एंड दैट्स वेरी गुड मैनेजमेंट, वेरी गुड बिजनेस, बट अगर आप उसमें एटलीस्ट पार्शली प्रॉफिट बुकिंग नहीं किया तो वो प्रॉफिट जो है वो पेपर पे रह जाता है, एंड द स्टॉक ओवर एक्सपेंसिव स्टॉक इनवेरिएबली गिव अवे मे बी 20-30% रिटर्न फ्रॉम देयर पीक वैल्यूएशंस. तो वैसी जो अपॉर्चुनिटी आती है, आई थिंक वो कैप्चर करना हैज़ बिकम इम्पॉर्टेंट इन दिस काइंड ऑफ पोस्ट कोविड काइंड ऑफ इरा. तो मुझे लगता है थोड़ा वो बायर राइट एंड सिट टाइट का इट इज़ अ गुड प्रैक्टिस. वन शुड ऑलवेज थिंक from on those lines, but we cannot sort of ignore the market realities.
तो अगर यूफोरिक अगर कहीं दिखता है तो वहाँ पे ट्रिम करने में कोई हिचकिचाहट नहीं करनी चाहिए.
नहीं करनी चाहिए. You can being in mutual fund, the advantage is when we sell stocks, we don't have to think about income taxation. Perfect. At the individual level or maybe other platforms like PMS and AIF, they have to think about taxation. So given that leisure, I think it would be my duty to book profits when the situation in a particular stock gets stretched.
तो एक चीज़ जैसे एक हो गया ट्रिम करना, या तो सेक्टर लेवल पे या स्टॉक्स पे, या फिर कंप्लीट एग्जिट है. अब ये दोनों में हाउ डू यू चूज कि व्हेन टू ट्रिम एंड व्हेन टू कंप्लीटली एग्जिट?
So I think it has to do with and very good question. It has to do with the quality of the management and business. अगर बहुत अच्छा है तो I will not exit it fully. I will trim it. अगर 3% है तो मैं उसको 1% कर दूंगा, या 2% है तो 1% कर दूंगा. Because we have to take that pain even the remaining position. अगर 30% drawdown आया तो, but with a lesser position sizing I can manage that. And when the right price comes and right times come, you can always sort of ramp up the position. When we exit the position completely, it becomes very difficult to build a position afresh again. So I think when you keep some position, you will stay tuned to it more, and at right time and right price, hopefully you will be able to ramp it up again. If you are out of the position, then it becomes difficult to revisit. You always track those companies, but then building fresh position is always a challenge. But in cases where you are sure that you are not so sure about the business and management and think this is totally driven by momentum and speculation and all those things, and then in some cases one should not hesitate to exit fully also. Because some themes or some companies, they do well for a period of say 3-5 years, then some of them can never sort of deliver those kind of growth rates because of the size, scale, this or becoming matured, etc., or competition coming. Their growth rates, if it was 25-30%, falls to 12-15%. In those cases, I think then it's better to sort of exit fully also sometimes.
Makes sense. अच्छा, प्री कोविड अगर हम देखते थे, like the private companies, or they used to be the darling of the most professional investments. The most neglected was the PSU. Post COVID, if you look at least today, even PSU have a reasonable amount of share in the professional fund managers portfolio. I know you are quality and a little growth conscious. Is there any change of heart looking at the PSUs, or still you are quality and growth? These two pillar remains the very important when you are constructing the portfolio.
Yes, so I think these pillars of quality and growth remains very, very sort of intact for my investing decisions. I do have some PSU stocks in my portfolio. That is because after COVID, uh, there is a lot of changes in their businesses in terms of growth coming back, balance sheets getting cleaned in terms of PSU banks, etc. But still, I think when it comes to professional management, management quality, driving growth, taking market share, I think private sector is still doing a very good job. Obviously, PSU also have good management, but they have a lot of constraints in terms of the way capital allocation happens, the way they approach market in terms of pricing, etc. So those kind of differences will always remain, and hence I will continue to prefer private sector players.
So I think you started at least managing funds from 2007, if I'm not wrong.
No, I started managing from 2011.
2011. So let's say suppose 14, 15 years,
Yeah.
At least in that space. So any uh, uh, any change in terms of your approach, or you have learned how your initial days as a fund manager and now having the almost like 1.5 decades of experience. Any key changes if you can highlight?
Uh, Not,
I'm sure you would have
yeah,
made some, in hindsight,
yeah,
some
yeah,
sort of mistakes, and
yes,
maybe the frameworks have evolved.
yes.
Uh,
So I would say not big change, but what has happened because of the market dynamics
hmm,
from particularly from say 14 to 18, 19.
hmm,
During the time, growth and quality stock used to do very well, and
hmm,
it used to be my style always.
hmm,
But because of the market also favored that style,
hmm,
I got sort of get even more biased towards that side, that style.
hmm,
And obviously after COVID, things changed.
hmm,
In 20 and 21, value did well, and even after that, sporadically
Valiant.
value and growth continued to do well. So I think because of my inherent style and market favoring that style, I got I developed some amount of complacency during those periods or years, I would say 18, 19, 20, etc. And even when things were changing in 2021,
Hmm,
I didn't change fast during those 2, 3 years.
hmm,
Ultimately, I changed in 23, 24 onwards.
hmm,
But those 3 years, or
hmm,
particularly 2 years,
hmm,
my performance had suffered heavily
hmm,
when the value did very well.
hmm,
So I think that is a learning that you have to have some pillar
hmm,
for the thought process, but you should not like over uh, overdo with it. You
hmm,
have to keep your mind open
hmm,
to new realities and be agile at least at the margin.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
Core has to be the same,
hmm, hmm,
firm,
hmm,
but at the margin, I think the fund managers need to
hmm,
keep their mind and
hmm.
ears and eyes open.
So if अगर थोड़ा सा ट्विक करने की जरूरत पड़े पूरे प्रोसेस में, तो आई थिंक वन शुड बी ओपन ऑन दैट
One should be open. One cannot be married to one style for
Perfect.
continuous, say, 10, 20, 30 years.
Correct, correct.
Because the world is dynamic, things are changing. So I think I'm not saying that one should change completely 180-degree. That is even more sort of disaster. But at the margin, one should be open
Open
to
to.
new ideas.
So I think we are in a era of the abundant informations.
Hmm.
There are a lot of noise, there are a
Yeah.
lot of news are there. So one is basically how you yourself segregate noise versus you get some signals and then may impact on your portfolio or a fund select or stock selections.
Yeah.
This is number one. And number two, basically, what advice again you will give it to the lot of investors, saying that how one should keep this noise, news one side and take the rational investment decisions, maybe with your experience.
Yeah, so I think you're right that in last 10, 15 years, the information overload is there and we have to filter a lot of information. 80, 90% is noise. And I think that comes with experience and discipline only. And the good part is the fund size itself helping me a lot to overcome information because whatever information I'm getting, because of the fund size, I don't have the leisure to act on every piece of information.
Hmm.
So I just read the information and pass it, let it pass.
Hmm.
Uh, so automatically the fund size is forcing me to filter a lot of information and noise out of it,
Hmm.
and act only when I think it is relevant, etc. So I think it comes with experience and discipline, and uh, I think with matlab, trial and error only people will sort of get what is noise and what is information, where to act, where not to act. I think it comes with maybe experience only.
Any good advice you received from maybe your peers or from parents or from your seniors, which you think you still carrying that and maybe practicing in your life?
So I think I got my mentoring as a analyst and fund manager during my Tata Mutual Fund days. There were two senior most fund managers who sort of taught me how to look at things overall in terms of the macro and micro and how to marry both of them, and uh, also keep in mind the valuations, etc. So I think those were the days. I cannot say one particular advice because we cannot approach equity investing with one advice.
Okay.
It is a whole lot of things has to go into it. And I think I got that training over a period of 10 years, which I spent in Tata Mutual Fund from those two, three guys. So that was very good for me as a foundation for my fund manager career.
I think if you look at post-COVID till maybe 2024, market were one side, and the most unexperienced investor would have earned the highest return,
Yeah.
and the most experienced professional fund manager would have earned lesser than the unexperienced person. And the last 15 months are completely different. I
Correct.
think the portfolio are bleeding as a direct stock investors, and I think professional fund managers have come back. People like you have come back on that side. Any observation from your side to the direct stock investors behavioral, and any one advice you would like to really share what they should not do?
Yeah, I think managing greed and fear is the most important thing nowadays in the market. People generally, obviously, retail investors may or may not have the kind of analytical abilities or skills or data with them to look at equity investing or approach in equity investing. Most of the investing would be happening basis the stock momentum or some tips and etc. etc. And in that construct, I think it is very important to manage the greed and fear. Generally, people will go for stocks where the stock price is going, and invariably there is 80% chance that they will get stuck in those kind of things. So I think managing greed and fear is very important, and which is difficult at the retail level to exercise that. So I think it's better to invest to mutual fund only, and even if they're investing in direct stock, I think they should limit themselves to maybe top 200 stocks, etc., where the companies have reached those position of top 200 after lot of overcoming lot of ups and downs. So they will
Down the curve नहीं जाना चाहिए.
हाँ down the curve नहीं जाना चाहिए, because when you lose capital and book profit, that is a
Worst thing can happen.
worst thing, and that it is very difficult to regain that thing, because when you make when the stock price goes from say 100 to 200, you make 100% kind of sorry, when you when the stock price comes from say 100 to 50, you lose
50%.
50%, but from 50 to 100 the stock price has to go up 100%. So I think that is very important to sort of remember. uh, and but unfortunately it is a nature of the market. It is a wealth transfer machine. So wealth will keep shifting from people who are impatient to people who are patient and doing their research in a right way. uh, it happens in mutual funds as well. Particularly people are approaching mutual funds directly, etc. Invariably their selection based on the last 1 year or last maximum 3 years performance. So in my previous organization, they did a study that one of my scheme over a period of 25 years had delivered 19.8% CAGR.
Okay.
The average investor return in that scheme was just 8%.
That's it. Half of.
Less than half of it.
Less than half.
Because they invariably, most of them would have come after seeing 1-2 year performance, then scheme would underperform for some reason, and then they would have made the exit. So scheme delivered 19.8% return. Average investor made just 8%.
तो फैक्ट शीट रिटर्न अलग है, इन्वेस्टर का रिटर्न अलग है.
Yes.
इंटरेस्टिंग है, इंटरेस्टिंग. आई एम श्योर व्हाई यू लव योर जॉब. ऐसी क्या चीज़ है जो आपको हमेशा एक्साइट करते रहती है एंड यू रियली लव अबाउट योर जॉब. आपको लगता है कि ये चीज़ शायद और कोई दूसरे, अगर आप प्रोफाइल करते हैं तो शायद वो चीज़ वहाँ पे नहीं मिलती आपको.
So I think this job gives a lot of opportunities to track many things at a time, meet many people, hear their views and choices they are making, and one has to stitch all these things put together, like Charlie Munger used to say, the Lollapalooza effect. You have to build that in the mind, and that is very exciting. I think it is like playing chess. So you always try to overcome the other person by thinking and thinking. So I think that is a very exciting part, and I'm always a sort of introvert person and doing more reading and thinking. And this job offers those two things, that we just have to read, observe, and then process that reading and observations. So I think that's the most interesting part of this job, that and this is a fiduciary duty. I am managing this kind of money for almost 25 to 30 lakh investors, both put together in both schemes. And if I can generate, say, good return over other asset classes, etc., I'm adding some value to the lives of those investors.
Yes.
So that is another sort of kick we get from this kind of job.
Yes, yes, yes.
So these two things keeps me going in this job.
Correct, correct. Yeah, I fully agree with you. One last question to you. Any advice people like us who are managing, maybe we are the custodian of the client's money. Any advice you would like to give us?
I think one, obviously we already spoke about the buy right, sit tight. I think that is at the stock level. But when it comes to mutual fund scheme level, one need not keep changing or churning the schemes. So I think it is better to focus on 2-3 fund managers in each category, and keep sort of providing them money through thick and thin. Obviously, whatever with the fund manager and his abilities, he has to go through ups and downs depending on his style and whether the market is favoring that style or not at that point of time. But if he is doing his job thoroughly and staying true to the style, his performance will come back in a other market cycle. So I think that is one, that when you develop confidence with particular fund managers in each category, you can find 2 or 3 of them with different styles. You can keep backing them with additional money. And secondly, I think asset allocation at your end. My job is to invest fully into equity, but at your end, obviously, you have to give a lot of importance to asset allocation at the investor level, depending on the profile of that investor. And I think that is very, very important, because particularly asset classes like equity and metals, like precious metals, is a talk of the town now. They can be very volatile from time to time. So one has to always respect asset allocation, and depending on the investor profile, and give advice. Even if the investor wants something, you have to explain him that these are the risks, this is your profile, and invest in this allocation pattern or rebalance it. So I think these two things, I would say, are very important to give good experience and build wealth for over a period of times.
What I like about you, Atulji, is basically I've seen you at least from last 12-15 years, and every time when I meet, the persona is the same, very calm, very composed. Like regardless of the size of the fund, the size of the funds is growing. But
it is not my money.
No, but ultimately
it's people's money.
No, but people are putting trust on you, right?
Yeah.
Like the capability, and I think that's I think the hallmark of your personality.
So that is a more satisfying thing than money itself.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm happy that we are associate, and you are kind enough to come spend time with us, time with our team, and share your thoughts and wisdom with us. So really appreciate for coming down.
Thanks for your time, and appreciate your work also of continuously managing so many investors and building wealth for them.
Appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you.